Let's get it. It's the Eternal Underground production. Shout out in the zone, baby. Y'all know what it is, man. You're now tuned in to the Hodge Podge Sports Show with a picks on target sharper than Katniss Everdeen with a crossbow. Before you place a bet, let's check with Patrick and Sean first. Unless your aim is that, I'll your buys. Check the floor right here. Forget the mother station, we got you covered. Don't waste your time. Ain't no need to straddle the fence. Now you can take a side with competition where you think a gazelle can take a line. If you in opposition, just listen. It will change your mind. You catch him right here. And every show a banger like Ray Lewis at the quarterback. Got open forms, you got a topic, well, we'll address it. God, don't come on here talking that nonsense and don't know nothing. No hesitation, get put in your place. End the discussion. Ain't no sugarcoating over here, keep it 100. Got a question, we gon' come with the answer like Irishman. If you ain't know then, you know now just what time it is. Sean, reppin' the city of brotherly love. Philly stand up, Super Bowl 52 champions. Baltimore in the building. Some Louis Boys pack, got Charm City on his back. Putting off with it like Cal Ripken Jr. back with the Orioles. And he's sport, we bound to dive into this knowledge from these college school to follow. Shout out to you. Without you, this impossible. You rock with us, we rock with you. I love us, I love for you. Much love to the fan base and follow the fan page. This thing with this sports talk is something like family. Ever and be more. Let's get you a crab cake. Oh, you in Philly, say less. Grab you a cheesecake. Now run into the sports fanatics that you know online. www.NGSC.
What is going on, everybody? It's your boy SJH, and I'm running the show tonight. At least that's what Patrick told me. I don't know what he was thinking. It's, having me run this show. It might be a little off on him, but we'll figure it out. We'll see how it's going. Tonight, we got a lot to talk about. We're going to get into quite a bit, as we do every single week. We're going to talk about, the NCAA college football and how they're going to try to justify getting Ohio State in. Then we're also going to dive into we're gonna dive into some trades that happened in the NBA. I really want to get into the Russell Westbrook one. Danny's on the line with us. Okay, an Oklahoma City guy. So hopefully we can get into that together. Because I really like the trade from both sides. So we'll really dive into that, and then of course we'll finish the night off with my picks. The Week 13 NFL picks. We got Lou on the line and we got Danny on the line. Lou, how you feeling, buddy? Danny, how you feeling, man? All right. I mean, yeah, you're an OU fan. I'm a Penn State fan. I feel your pain, Danny. That's all I'm gonna tell you is I feel your pain. It's not fun when your program is supposed to be good and they suck. I mean, personally, I think for Penn State, losing Hollywood Brown hurt a lot, and her losing it for the entire year, that hurt a lot. And we also lost that. We also lost the linebacker Parsons for the year. That hurt a lot. But other than those two, I mean, those two major points of our offense. But I think also when you're a high tier program like a Penn State or like a I got a sneeze coming. I can't get it out. Like a Penn State or like an Ohio or like an Oklahoma, there's no reason why your backups can't cover it to where what the Penn State's 2-5. What's Oklahoma's record, Danny? So yeah, you guys aren't horrible like us. I mean, you're not dying like we are. You're just not making the playoffs. Yeah, like we should be with the kind of talent that Penn State is able to get. Like we're getting 4 and 5 star recruits still. So there's no reason why we still can't be 6-2. That's what sucks to us. Franklin's gone probably after this year. And hopefully they can get, an actual decent quarterback in that's actually mobile. I don't know. Go ahead, Dan. You can say your piece on it as well about your team. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, so I mean, you made the comment earlier. The whole joke on Penn State. If you did anybody tell Penn State just because they lose out, they're not going to get the number one pick. Now, I mean, it's kind of the same. You still want to play for a high level bowl game because you still want to be on national television to get those recruits and everything like that. It's all about showing off your program as often as you can. Especially, I mean, these big name schools like Oklahoma and Penn State shouldn't have to do that because of just they should be getting big guys just off of name value alone. But they still want to you want to show off your coach and all that fun stuff. Which this is going to be. I don't remember the last time Penn State wasn't in a bowl game before all the sanctions came down for the Joe Paterno mess. So this is going to be definitely interesting for me personally as a Penn State fan. But we'll see what happens. It's always interesting. But let's stay in college football here and really dive in. I'm sorry, Lou. Do you have anything you want to add to that before we move on? Mhm. Yeah. Like I said, they did lose Hollywood Brown, who's supposed to be the starting running back this year, and they did lose Parsons on defense, which Parsons is going to be like the best first linebacker taken off the board this year. So we'll see what happens next year. I think Franklin's gone no matter what. So we'll see what happens, and hopefully the team gets turned around. But it's always the thing of just because you fire a good coach doesn't mean you're going to find a good coach. It's just got to trust the guys there that they know what they're doing. That teams, Penn State's one of those teams. They're always competitive. They're always going to be there. So we'll see what happens with them. But let's move on. Stay in college football here. I want to actually hold on. We got to pay some bills before I forget to do this all together. No, I'm not as good with these transitions as Patrick is, but hey, this is the Hodge Podge Sports Show, and it is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience at your favorite sports venue. Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? And so we're gonna dive into now. We've really got to talk about. We've talked about it on the Hodgepodge Sports Show page. We haven't talked about it in person. I really wish Patrick was here to do that, but he's feeling a little bit under the weather. So me, Danny, and Lou will bang this idea around of how is Ohio State going to get in to the college football playoffs? So I'm going to kick it to you. Um, I'm going to kick it to you, Danny. Tell me your thoughts on it. Mm-hmm. So this is what I was going to say, because they still have to play their conference championship game, right? Like, no matter what, you imagine they have to play their conference championship game against Indiana. Like, that needs to happen, right? So if Indiana goes out there and beats them, do you put Indiana? Do you put Indiana in the top then, even though they're in the same boat as Ohio State, who hasn't played that many games? Or is that the kind of scenario where you would think about putting a say, let's just say Florida loses to Alabama? Is that the kind of scenario then you would think about putting Texas A&M in over them, and you would have two SEC, oh my God, SEC teams in, and you might even get two ACC teams in there with Clemson and Notre Dame. Like, I'm just trying to figure. Go ahead. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That is true. Now, the only reason that Indiana, yeah, that's why I brought up Indiana, because of how far down Indiana is, and I'm just saying how important that conference championship game could be to them. But and again, I keep bringing up Texas A&M because, again, Texas A&M is on the verge of the Texas A&M is on the brink there of, like, even if Florida loses to Alabama, then Alabama is in a situation, or then Texas A&M their only loss of the year is to the conference championship. And hey, Bryce, you guys can't hear Danny. I'm sorry. I know what I have to do if you can't hear you. I just want to make sure I understood that right. Every time I host and I have the headphones on, I just gotta do this then. It does every time I host. Whenever I host and I have the headphones on, for whatever reason, nobody can hear a caller, so there's gonna be silences. All right. Danny, go ahead and say something real quick. Can't hear anything now. Danny, can you hear me? I'll order that stuff whenever the stuff off Amazon's name. And then you have the stuff maker, we'll do them. Maybe we'll start. Could you guys couldn't hear me at all there? Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello. Something's going wrong. Danny, Lou, anybody? No, I can't hear anybody, Patrick. And I think Danny just got. I don't know what's. All right. Well, if you guys can hear me, then I'll just rock it then for a little bit because I don't know what's going on. I unplugged my microphone and apparently the mic on here. Yo, Danny, can you hear me? He's showing on here. Mute's off. All right. I'm going to shut that down then. All right. Well, then I'm just going to keep riding. If you guys want to rock with me, go ahead in the comments because apparently nobody can hear what I'm saying outside of you guys. So hopefully that means Facebook can hear me at least and YouTube. The reason I was bringing up that point earlier to Danny about the Texas A&M thing, because I find them to be the most interesting team, being as if they beat Florida and then their loss is to Alabama, who, if Alabama wins the conference championship, it's going to be very hard if Alabama wins the conference championship, it's going to be very hard to move Florida above them no matter what, because they're the 5 seed. This is something that we talked about a little bit last week. And on top of that, OSU, if Ohio State doesn't play enough games and or loses to Indiana in that last game, I don't know how does Indiana deserve that final spot because they won their conference championship game, and how much the committee appreciates winning a conference championship over actually over depending where your seating is and everything. It's going to be different how it plays out. It's going to be everything's different this year, right? 2020 COVID. It's something we apparently can't get away from. I'm curious more than anything because I think we don't agree on anything at Hodge Podge Sports Facebook page. That's one of the best parts about it. The debates are always pure. But I think the one thing that most people agree on that page is that we don't agree that Ohio State deserves to be in. And I don't know where everybody else's allegiances lie. I'm more of, I don't think the Big Ten should be in it at all. I don't think there's anybody in the Big Ten that should be in it. And that's just me personally. We'll see how it plays out as everything goes on. But I think that this is my prediction. I'm going to stand by this. Not with 5 stinking wins, they don't. Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. Here's my thing is even if they have, let's just say they play 6 games, right? What does that, like, you have teams like Texas A&M, Clemson, Notre Dame, Florida, all vying for a spot, and they may not even be able to get in because of the amount of wins because they'll go 9-1. And Ohio State won't even have played 4 or 5 games, and they might get in still. But you don't know what's going to happen in those 4 or 5 games. For all we know, Ohio State could have tripped up and lost one of them. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know I feel like you're just playing kind of the what if game. You're kind of guessing there, and we shouldn't be guessing, right? We should be putting in the teams that we know are far and away the best. The teams that we've watched all year play better than everybody else. This is also another reason I was thinking about today. They need to expand the college playoffs. And plain and simple, I need more. I agree with that right there, Bryce Kittle. I don't think a Big Ten team should make it. I think it should be Bama, A&M, Notre Dame, and Clemson right now. I completely agree with that. ACC versus SEC. They're the 4 best teams right now. We've seen it all year. We all know Bama's the best team in the country right now anyway. And the only team that I think could possibly beat them is Clemson. Maybe Notre Dame, but when Notre Dame beat Clemson, they didn't have their quarterback. So I'm interested to see how it does. But like I was saying, this is why they need to expand the playoffs. I don't want a 14 playoffs. I don't want 25 bowl games. I don't want to watch the Frito burrito, grilled cheese, Taco Bell bowl. Nobody wants to watch that. I don't need that. Give me 5 bowl games and everybody else makes the playoffs. All right? Expand me to 16. Okay? Expand me to 16. You can compete with the NFL. College football can compete with the NFL, but you don't even need to play on Sundays. You stay playing on Saturdays. The NFL starts their playoffs in January. Or the January they start their playoffs. you could still pan out your schedule to where you can be in the final 2 or 3 weeks of the season or 2 or 3 weeks of the playoffs, right when the NFL is either getting to their playoffs or at the end of their, in the middle of their playoffs where you're finishing, and or in the beginning. It's all I just don't understand this with the 14, because if you just make it a 16 team thing where you just break it down with 8-8 on both sides and just have them collapse in the middle, just like every other sport does, then it doesn't leave any more room for doubt. You have those 25 teams there that you vote for every single week. Nobody's questioning anymore the non-Big Five teams that didn't make it, right? Like all those UCF fans from years ago that were on 2 years of undefeated, they are now kept quiet because now they're in. They have the chance, and then if they lose, you don't have to hear it. Same with the BYU this year or the Cincinnati this year. They're in. They have the chance. Let's see what happens. It's something that when they first got the playoffs, like, oh, cool, 4 teams battling out. The committee's deciding, well, screw it. Like, let's just expand it already. So this way we're not having these arguments and these debates every single week about who should be in. We're not worried about the 1 through 12s anymore. We're debating the who's going to get into the 13 to 14 that we're going to lose in the first round anyway. So those conversations become less meaningful, and we can go on to bigger things that matter, right? So we're not sitting here wasting our time on I don't want to say wasting our time because that's not right. We're not sitting here talking about something and just continuously bringing up the same thing over and over and over again. But Bryce, like I said to you, I do agree with the 4 teams you said. He said Bama, Tech. I'll put them up for everybody. He said Bama, Texas A&M, Notre Dame, and Clemson. I like all 4 of those teams. And I think the only way that it could happen is it's got to be a domino effect where Florida loses to Bama, Clemson beats Notre Dame in these are all conference championship games. Florida loses to Bama, Clemson loses to Notre Dame, or Clemson beats Notre Dame, and Indiana has to beat Ohio State. And that's the only way I can see those 4 teams that you said making it. If not, I know they're going to put Ohio State in if they win the Big Ten. It's not going to matter if they could play another game, not play another game the rest of the year, except that, and that conference championship is going to mean that much to them. But I'd like to remind everybody that this is the Hodge Podge Sports Show, and it is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the websites, arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience at your favorite sports venue. Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? So, everybody, now I think we're going to move on to my favorite sport, the one that I love the most, the one that I fight for the most with Patrick, and that is basketball. And I want to talk primarily about one single trade, one cellular trade that happened. And that is, of course, Russell Westbrook going to Washington and John Wall going to Houston. I absolutely loved the trade for Washington. I think they made out really well there. When you go back and look, when you're just looking at the players, comparing player for player, you're going to say, well, they're kind of the same player. They're not. Westbrook's way more athletic. He's not as selfish as John Wall is. Excuse me. He wants to play. He wants to be part of a team, and he's getting to play with a guy that isn't James Harden, that doesn't demand the ball in his hand all the time. James Harden, I love him. He's arguably my favorite player right now. But when you look at it long term, James Harden needs to shoot the ball 25, 30 times. He needs the ball in his hands. He needs the ball in his hands all the time. That takes away from Westbrook's best skill set, right? But Westbrook's best skill set is being a playmaker, driving to the basket, dishing out, driving to the basket, yamming. Like, that's Westbrook's best attributes. When you take the ball out of Westbrook's hands, you are not allowing him to be the best basketball player that he could be. And I just said what the best basketball version of him is. when you have a player like Bradley Beal who doesn't need the ball in his hands to score, that makes the team one better and makes the player better. Because Bradley Beal can move off the ball, and Westbrook can find him. Beal, I'm gonna put this up, Danny. I got you, buddy. Beal and Westbrook will complement each other. OKC tried trading for Beal a few years ago. I like Bradley Beal. I really like Bradley Beal. I think this is the perfect situation for Russell Westbrook. I don't know. I'm not going to go say they're going to win a championship. That's naive and stupid. But they are at the point now to where with this addition of Russell Westbrook, who also is a very good defender that people seem to forget about, with the addition of Russell Westbrook, he is now on a team where he can make the playoffs in the East. They are now going to be a fringe playoff team, and we will see where that takes them. It's interesting because then I look at Houston on the other side. I don't see John Wall and Harden working together, just like I couldn't see Harden and Westbrook working together anymore. These two cats both need the ball in their hand. I can't. You have a speedy guard from Kentucky that drives the ball with his head down all the time. It's the same thing that you had in Westbrook, but a smaller version that's not going to play defense. And not to mention, you haven't seen him play in almost 2 years. We have no idea what John Wall you're getting right now at this point in his career. You don't have a clue. So you basically traded Westbrook just to get rid of him. But in reality, you gave up a first-round pick and Westbrook for a guy that makes the same money as him and is worse. I'm not sure the numbers exactly. I mean, if somebody wants to look this up and tell me, please feel free. But I would venture to say that he's a worse shooter than Westbrook is, and we know Westbrook can't shoot the ball. That's not what Westbrook can do. He will shoot it, but he's not good at it. But we know that Wall can't shoot either. And I would argue to say, like, I'm going off the cuff here thinking that Wall shoots worse than Westbrook from 3. That's just my guess. And when you play with a guy like Harden, that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to be standing on a perimeter shooting threes. You're not going to be, you're not going to be driving to the basket, kicking to him, because he may play the 2 guard, but he sure as hell is the point guard out there. He's the one with the ball in his hands the entire game. And even if you get the ball off the score underneath the basket, you're passing right to him, and he's controlling it for the rest of the clock. Whether he drives to net, does whatever he does. That all it was, a contract swap trade. Houston will be a bottom 4 in the West. I don't agree with that. Now I'm gonna put this up. I'm not sure who it is, just this Facebook user on my screen. I don't agree with that Houston's going to be a bottom 4 team in the West next season. Because they still have James Harden. I mean, any way you want to slice it, the dude still was MVP a couple years ago. He's still a top 3 player he's still a top 3 MVP in the MVP talks every single year. I mean, the team isn't horrible that's built around him. I mean, DeMarcus Cousins, we're going to see what we get out of him. And people are misunderstanding. I don't think John Wall is a bad player. I don't think John Wall is. I just don't think they're any better with John Wall. They could just come back and be the exact same team. They could be a 4 or 5 seed again in the West. But if you're going to tell me that they're going to be a bottom 4 team in the West, you got to tell me all the teams you have in front of them, and we got to have a conversation, because I can't tell you that they're a bottom 4 team in the West right now. That's with 16 teams in a conference. You're saying that they're not above the bottom 4? No, I can't. They're in the bottom 25%. I can't ride with that. I can't. And I've never seen a player that's considered an MVP on the bottom 25% of a team in any conference. Never in the history of the game. Ever seen it. But again, that's something that we could talk about. If you want to have a little discussion about it, that's fine. Wall is a career 43% from the field and 32% from 3. All right. Westbrook is a career 43% from the field and 30.5 from 3. So it's about the same. So all right. So I was almost right. I was 1.5 off saying that So basically, exactly, you did a player for player swap, but the difference is Westbrook, I think, is better suited in Washington because he's going to play defense and he's able to guard more than one position. Where I ain't seen Wall play defense since ever. Houston makes the playoffs, but they'll be Brian Jones. I agree. They'll make the playoffs and they'll be a 6 to 8 seed. I agree 100%. That's the team that they are right now, and Houston will be a 6 to 8 seed in the playoffs. They're on the downward slide. You already hear, when Westbrook got traded, Harden's banging down the door. He wants out of there too. The only problem is the place he wants to go. Doesn't want him. I mean, let's be real. Kyrie doesn't want to play with Harden. Any kind of leadership that Kyrie had is gone, right? Like, he doesn't want to play with Harden. He wants to quote unquote be the man of that team, right? But I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to start that tonight. But I mean, if I'm Kyrie and I'm KD, I can see why KD wants to play with him, try to reunite that friendship and all that because they're still really good friends. But Kyrie, I understand. There's no way me being a point guard, you're going to bring in a guy that's going to need to be point guard to play here. And I don't think James Harden has it in him to be less of a shooter. If you guys know what I mean by that, like, I don't see James Harden taking a lesser role in any form on any team he's going to. Like, just like if he goes to the Celtics tomorrow, you best believe that he's expecting Tatum to take a back seat to him and Brown to take a back seat to him, and he's still going to want to shoot 20, 25 times a game. The same thing with any team he goes to in the league. Like, it's going to be move over, Harden's here kind of deal because that's kind of cat he seems to be. I don't see him being the kind of person that's going, all right, you know what? I'm here in Philly now, or I'm here in Milwaukee now. Giannis is here. Chris Middleton's here. I don't need to put the load on me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see him being that kind of guy. KD just wants a friend. Yo, Q, man, you might be right. Maybe KD just wants a friend. I mean, I didn't ask him, but maybe that's all he wants. Maybe he just wants a friend. Maybe him and Kyrie aren't clicking. I don't know, Kyrie ain't going to lead a thing. Got to be a leader in order to lead. Listen, man, we've had that conversation one too many times, Brian Jones. We all know that Kyrie and KD ain't ever led anything in their life, right? Like, they ain't ever let a dog to a water bowl, right? They both have to. I think this is going to be an interesting year for Brooklyn because Brooklyn's a good team. We can't deny that Brooklyn isn't a good team. But the interesting thing is going to be is, one, I want to see at the end of games who's shooting the ball. Two, I want to see which one of them comes out and is more vocal and is like the de facto leader, which, if I read this right, and somebody can correct me on this too, but I think I saw today that Kyrie said he's doing a full media blackout this year. Now, I'm not 100% sure on what that means because I saw it right before I was coming on. And I'm not sure really what that all entails, but if I'm thinking about it here as I'm talking to you, a full media blackout. So you're not talking to the media all year? You're not posting on Twitter or Instagram all year? Like, I got to know what that means before I'm going to comment on it. If anybody in the feed wants to let me know what exactly he means by a full media blackout. And we got to talk this through, because if he really thinks he's going to duck the media, they get fined if they don't talk to the media, right? He said he won't be speaking to the media all season. Good luck with that. And listen, Brian, this is another point of him not being a leader, right? Like, listen, if you can't sit here and say you want to be a leader, then you're not going to talk like to the media. So let me get this right. If Spencer Dinwiddie, he's a great, I like him a lot. If him or Karis LeVert are having a good game, and let's just say Kyrie's off that night, right? Doesn't Kyrie, as a leader, have to step up and say, you know what, guys? My guys were killing it tonight. Spencer was going off. LeVert was really trying to help us out off the bench, yada, yada. KD was killing it, but I was coming up short. Isn't that on a leader to announce that? Now, granted, he doesn't have to say it to the media, but guys in a locker room that they want to know that you said it's in media. They want to know that you let the whole world know that, that's on you. That's what a leader does. That's what guys in a locker room are going to see, is him saying, them constantly getting thrown on the bus. Like, oh crap. Like, again, we got to take this. We got to go talk to the media. Like, this is something that we got to do because you don't want to talk to the media. I think that's corny, to be honest. Like, you as a leader should want to talk to the media. So your guys, like your Dimwitties and your Leverts and your oh my God, what's their young center's name? Oh, I can't think of the dude with the big fro. Oh, I'm losing it. Whatever his name is too. It's the question still stands. Like, shouldn't you want to do that as a leader so those guys don't have to do it? And Keith, listen, man, I get he's not a media guy. I get that. I mean, he's horrible with the media anyway. And thank you, Alan. Thank you. But Keith, the question I have for you is like what I just said. Isn't that his responsibility if he wants to be a leader? Shouldn't he want to take on that role and talk to the media so these younger guys that are growing up in the league and seeing it don't have to do it? Shouldn't he want to do that as a leader? And that's the same question, Keith. I know you're a huge Kyrie fan. I'm going to ask you straight up, who is the leader on that team right now? Because I don't know. You have a guy that's saying that he doesn't want to talk to the media at all, and you have another guy in KD who's never been a leader. That's why I said, Brooklyn, we know they're going to be a good team, but I got to see first. I have to see, one, who's taking that last shot in the game, and two, which one of them is going to come out and actually lead this team. We all know they're going to be a 2 or 3 seed in the East. We know that. They're going to be right there with Miami and Boston. Or not Miami and Boston, Milwaukee and Boston. P.S. I think Miami takes a step back this year. Different conversation, different day. But, it's just a matter really of don't say the guy that's open. That's a corny excuse because when another guy passes it to the guy that's open, he's doesn't want to take the shot, and now it's the guy that's open. No, one of them needs to come out and be the guy, right? One of them needs to be that guy that's going to take that last shot. The ball starts with the point guard. It doesn't always start with the point guard. I mean, we've seen KD start with the ball a lot of time in Golden State. A lot of time we've seen him start with the ball in Golden State. Just like a lot of time wherever LeBron goes, the ball's in his hand. So the ball does not always start in a point guard, especially not in today's NBA. It's not a true statement. Like I said, I'm very, very, I want to see this stuff. This might be the most excited I've been for a team that's not my favorite team in a very long time, because I think Brooklyn's going to be a very good team in the East. I just want to see them. I want to see them play together. I just want to see them play. And I'm very interested because they're Brooklyn's deep. Like, people think KD and Kyrie and it stops, but it doesn't. I mean, I'm pretty sure Jordan's coming off the bench for Allen to start. So you're gonna have Jordan off your bench. I'm not sure if Dimwit is starting yet, but he's a great player. You have LeVert, he's got to come off the bench. He's another great player. Like, they run 6 or 7. They run 6 or 7 players that could start on any team in the league right now. They are a very, very, very deep team, and I'm interested to watch them play. Don't care. KD and Kyrie, he has to decide and determine whose team it is. No, but see, that's the thing. I think you're wrong when you say KD and Kyrie don't care about that. They do. That's why Kyrie specifically said he left LeBron to begin with, right? Because he wanted to be a leader on a team. That's what he told everybody. And then he left Boston because that wasn't his team, and he saw that, right? And the same thing with KD. Now, we don't know what. Actually, KD's the weirdest dude in the entire I've ever met. KD is the weirdest dude I've ever met in my life. I can't even say met because I never met him. And I did, Keith, we both 100% agree there. KD was never the leader in Golden State. I agree 1,000%. It was always Curry's team, and shit, it was Draymond Green's team before KD's. I agree 1,000% there. But KD is the weirdest dude. He left Cleveland because they were trying to trade him behind his back. I mean, that's interesting. I mean, I don't remember seeing any of that ever. I remember them saying that I remember LeBron saying he wanted to play with them long term, but it is. You could be right. I don't know about that, to be honest. But what I was saying is, but he was always the best player while he was there. That's okay. All right. turning, not doing it. Not doing it tonight. He would be a leader and it backfired. Listen, I'm not doing that one tonight, but I'm just saying is that Kyrie is, or not Kyrie, KD's an interesting dude to me because he because I'm curious on what he's going to be. I'm curious on because he's never one, we know he's never been a leader in his career. Two, we know he doesn't shut the hell up on Twitter, and he's not quick to try to quote unquote call somebody out. And I'm just interested to see what this team is more than anything. Like I'm excited just to watch them more than anything. With that, let's read this. This is the Hodge Podge Sports Show, and it is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website, arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? So, Hugh's got a question. Is Miami the real team to beat in the East? No, 1,000 times no. I think Miami got hot at the right time, and they had a terrific leader in Jimmy Butler. I also think that team is going to take a major step back this year coming up. Oh, I guess you can't really say major step back because they went into the playoffs as a 5 seed, correct? And then they finished out as the 1 seed in the East. And I mean, the Miami may be a 4. Like, here's my thing: is do I think Miami is better than Milwaukee in the regular season? I don't. Do I think Miami is better than Boston in the regular season? I don't. Do I think Miami is better than Brooklyn in the regular season? That one's to be determined. I don't know, because again, I don't know what the team that Brooklyn's going to be, but on paper, Brooklyn should be better than Miami, right? So that's 3. And then I put them there. They're 4. It's between Philly and Boston, in my opinion. Brian, you like Philly more than I do this year, man. I'll tell you that much. Philly, to me, is going to be another interesting team to watch. I'm curious just to see how the team gels, because they have a lot of turnover now with the addition of Danny Green, losing Al Horford, Josh Richardson, and adding Danny Green and Seth Curry. Keith, my order was what I said was in no particular order. I was just naming 3 teams that I think are better than Miami currently in the regular season. But yeah, Brian, you're a lot. I'm just interested to see how Philly gels in general, because I don't know. Like, could Seth Curry be like JJ Redick? We hope, right? Like, we hope that he can play that pick and pop game like JJ and Joel did for so long, right? And the question's always going to lie: is Ben going to shoot? You know, that we have to. I'm not going to say Philly is the best team in the East right now, but I don't think Boston is either. I think if I'm being honest with the order I said, I'd probably go Milwaukee or Brooklyn, one or 2. I don't. Again, I want to see Brooklyn play, but they would be 1 or 2, and then 3 would be Boston at 3. Miami could overtake Boston. The best team that Miami could beat is Boston, is what I'm saying. I just don't think Miami. I just don't see how Miami. They look like the same team, right? Like, I don't see how Miami got better in this offseason. Brian Jones, Doc won't let them fail mentally like they did in the past. Plus, he can actually coach in crunch time. Again, Brian Jones, you're talking to a guy that thinks Doc Rivers is an extremely overrated coach. So I want him to make me eat my words. I'm going to fall back. I'm going to let it play out. I'm going to see how it happens. Do I think he's a better coach than Brett Brown? Yeah, he's a better coach than Brett Brown, but shit, I would have been a better coach than Brett Brown, honestly. I mean, God, he was. And there's a thing called, like, this is why I believe this, honestly. There's you hire one coach to lose to hire another coach to win. Brett Brown was the first coach we hired to lose intentionally. Then we hired Doc Rivers to win. Same thing with the Bulls back in the day, right? Right? Think about, like, you hired Doug Collins to lose, got your piece, then bring on Phil Jackson to win. Same thing here. You hire Brett Brown to lose. Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, fire, bring on Doc Rivers to win. You go, this is tale as old as time. They do it with every single team. I mean, it's the way it works. You bring in coaches intentionally to lose, get the player you want, bring in the new coach, then hire him to win. It's been like that forever. We are going to skip topics though, because it's getting close to the end here. Oh God, excuse me. Usually I bring a water with me over here. I forgot tonight. We're going to go to the Jackson one because of the I mean, let's be real, Keith. Every coach wins because of the talent they have. No coach outside of Larry Brown when he won with the Pistons that won because they coached well versus won because they had talent, right? Like the Detroit Pistons when they won in 2008? Not 8, 5? 4 or 5 when they won with Larry Brown as the coach. That team wasn't the most talented team on the court, but they played really, really well together. Right? They played really, really well together. I know Larry Brown coached in Philly too. I'm just saying when Larry Brown coached in Detroit, when he took that team to the finals, 2004. Thank you, Brian Jones. When he won that championship, I mean, you look at that squad alone. He ripped Hamilton, Tayshaun Prince, Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace, and Chauncey Billups. That's not the most talented 5 on the court. They should have lost to the Lakers, but exactly, the pieces all fit, and he knew how to coach that team very well. He coached that team up and got them to play at a level they were never able to play. They were never able to play at again. All right? That's my point. It's like you bring in coaches. Coaches are you always fire a coach before you fire a player, right? You don't always give up on a player first. You give up on the coach first. Well, maybe if we change the coach. Yeah, another great point, Keith. Yes, they all defended. Well, my point is you always say, okay, a player A has this. Let's bring in another coach that's not Coach A. Let's bring in Coach B to see if he can get player A to work because we draft them so high and so on and so forth. You usually go through 2 coaches before you can finally get rid of a player because that's the way it works. Especially in the NBA, it's the most player-friendly league in the entire world. But that's, again, a conversation for a different day. Actually, you know what I'm going to do tonight? No, I'm not going to do that because you all going to take Logan's picks. Then he's going to get pissed at me because some of y'all are going to catch him. But, in case all you forget who you're chasing, my 10-year-old son's whooping all y'all asses in the Pick'em League right now. He's got that 2-point advantage going into week 13. All he's got to do is hold it for 4 more weeks. And oh, God, don't let him win, please. Please, God, don't let him win. His head's inflating every day. I'm not sure if you know this about I'm not even sure what you would call a 10-year-old, a preteen. I'm not sure, but the head is started off this. And please, somebody help me. That's all I'm saying. Help me. Let's start off with the Saints and the Falcons. I think this is pretty easy. You guys can comment your who you think's going to win right here, right there, right in the post there, and I'll read them out loud. I'm going with the Saints for that one. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, the Saints have proven that it doesn't really matter who they play or who's that quarterback for them. They're a threat, a real threat to a Super Bowl this year. A real threat to the Super Bowl this year, and it's pretty easy to pick that one, I think. Let's go to 2-8-3 teams going at it. We're going to go Browns at the Titans. And I think this is honestly, hold on, let me put my Baker hater hat on. This is the Browns' first real test since they, I think, lost to Pittsburgh, if I'm not mistaken. They really haven't played, I don't think, a team. Oh, no, they played the Raiders and lost to them, but yeah. So they've played a lot. They've been playing a lot of I don't want to say easy teams, but they've had it easy the past couple of weeks. And this is going to be a really big test for them to see where they really are in the world of actually being a good team. I mean, they finish up with Titans, play the Ravens again, Giants, Jets, and Steelers. So Indy was supposed to be a test. When did you guys play Indy? When did you guys play Indy? I'm asking because I'm not really sure. I'm talking the last couple weeks here. You played the Jaguars last week. The week before that, you played the Eagles. The week before the Eagles, you played the Texans, and then you ran and you lost the Raiders. And then you played the Bengals, lost to the Steelers, and then you played the Colts. So you're talking 8 weeks ago. No, they played the Colts on October 11th. So that's a month ago, right? That's almost 2 months ago. You guys played the Colts almost 2 months ago. I'm talking the last like 4 or 5 weeks. You guys haven't been tested in a while. You guys have been just slapping off these scrub teams left and right here. Listen, I'm not trying to knock any of your wins here because you play who's on your schedule. That's cool, but you guys haven't played. You guys haven't played a good team. Let's be real here. I mean, the Raiders they're okay, but you have the point you play them. They were 4-3. You guys haven't played a good team since the Steelers on the 18th, October 18th. So, like I said, this is a test for you guys. This is a legitimate test versus a very good team in the Titans, a very good run team in the Titans. So we will see what happens. I like the Titans in this game because their defense. I can't even say their defense. I like the Titans in this game. I just think their quarterback's better, their running back's better, and their receivers are better. And yeah, at the end of the day, that's what's the Derrick Henry is going to wear them down. Moving on. Wow, the game's pretty bad. We got the Rams at the Cardinals, and this one is interesting for the Cardinals. The Cardinals, I think, lost 2 in a row now and kind of sliding out of playoff contention. They were on kind of a tear there in the middle of the season, but after dropping, they lost 2 in a row to the Seahawks and to the Patriots. The Cardinals got to try to right the ship here, and this isn't the team you want to right the ship with. Being the LA Rams, I think it's going to be very hard for the Cardinals to win. I hope they do because that means Kyler Murray had a good day, and that means I had a good day in fantasy. So we'll see we'll see. But I'm leaning Rams, but Jared Goff hasn't had a good game in a couple weeks either. I'm leaning Rams because that defense is just so good, and Aaron Donald can go off at any time. You know what? I'm changing it. I'm going Cardinals in a comeback this week. Cardinals are going to get the comeback win and get back on track this week. Y'all heard it here first. Moving on. Let's go to... Wow, these games are bad. Well, we always call my game, so let's do it. I think there's no way this is the game of the week. That's embarrassing if it is. I hope it's not. It says the game of the week right now is the Eagles at the Packers. I'm sorry, everybody. I didn't mean for this to happen. We didn't expect it either. But I'm definitely picking the Packers by 17. Bro, that's Jenny. You're being generous right now, aren't you? You in a good mood, Brian? Come on now. I'm talking Packers by 25. Shit. I mean, I said it last week that I thought by halftime Jalen Hurts was going to finish the game off. I'm starting to believe that Jalen Hurts isn't going to come in the rest of the year, and Doug's going to ride or die with Carson, which is fine. I'm cool with it either way, to be honest, because I'm good either way. I still think Carson's the guy, but I'm interested to see if they make any switches or not. I don't think so. But yeah, definitely Packers by. I'm going Packers by like 10 or whatever you want to say. I don't care. The Eagles are going to lose. That's all that matters to me. This is where it gets interesting. Hopefully. Oh, it doesn't. The games suck. Bills at Niners. It's Monday night. I think the Bills are going to tear them up. And it's not even going to be close. It's a lot of bad football this week, man. A lot of bad matchups. That Cleveland Tennessee game, that might be that's, in my honest opinion, the game of the week. Like that one should be what J.R. Ross would call a slobber knocker, right? Like that's the one you're going to want to watch. I mean, the Bills Niners, that's Bills. Yeah, come on, Bills are going to win. It's easy. Q, you go on the Niners? you better start howling. That's you're a lone wolf there. And Tuesday, we got a game on Tuesday, Cowboys Ravens, which is bogus in itself that we even are getting a Tuesday night game because the Broncos could have played a quarterback if they got pushed back to Wednesday like the other team did. But hey, who am I to say anything else, right? With that, I think we're gonna get out of here. Everybody, y'all have a great night. Thanks for rocking with me all night. Q, Brian, Keith, Patrick, Bryce, everybody that rocked in the comments. Lou and Danny. Sorry, don't know what happened on the phones there. It kind of just dipped out on me. Hope y'all have a good night. And yeah, peace.